And this, I believe the world of cryptocurrency is the world where the unknown is at the most rapid pace ever, because you don't know some of the things that you shouldn't even, or wouldn't even know to go look at.
What's going on, everybody? Super excited for another episode. I've got a very, very special guest with me today. This man knows all things about crypto, all things NFT. He is the boss. He is excited to be here. So excited to share his story, share his knowledge, and just really have a chance to have a conversation about the future with none other than Mr. Vix Vibes. Vix, what up, Vix?
What is going on? Yes, Vic, what's going on? Yeah, I get that. Facts. Now I get that a lot, especially because we meet in the digital world and everything. But what's going on, boss lady? I'm super humbled to be here. Just me and my wife have been just talking about the brand, just kind of seeing what you guys are doing from a distance. So when we were able to, partner up, I said, of course, let's go ahead and get to it.
Yo, listen, it is just getting started. And it's funny because our conversation started first online, and then we ran into each other, bumped into each other in the metaverse, 2 weeks after, before we even did this interview. And I think that is so cool, because when we look at just the concept of the metaverse and how all of this is shaping, like, to know that we actually had what felt like a physical experience prior to even getting on the phone and chopping it up today was just super dope. So we'll get into all of that. Let's first start with you though, Vic. I really am excited to share your knowledge with the world, but more importantly, your story. So take us back, right? How did you even get into all of this stuff? Where did crypto even, where did you get introduced? Who told you? Did you read a book? Did you watch a YouTube video? Where did the spark come?
Absolutely. So I was actually working full-time here in Atlanta, and I'm from Atlanta, well, the south side of Atlanta, let me be very clear. I'm already have set some new rules out. So I'm from the south side, and at the time I was working full-time as an engineer, and I had just graduated from college. So I'm working this job, and instantly I'm starting to think like, yo, how can I actually start investing my money? But the truth of the matter, I'm like, yo, they taking so much money in taxes. How can I get this money back? So I started the Google searches of, how can I actually, start making money while I'm actually working? And of course, the stock market came up. So, I'm playing around with the stock market. I actually come up on a very good play, so to speak, get like 80% returns, but it took like 7, 8 months, which I thought it's great numbers, but I wanted something that was going to be a little bit quicker. So then I was kind of introduced to Forex just because, everyone started posting about it. And when I got introduced to it, I took it from the approach of, look, I can get very technical because of, my background in engineering. So when I saw how the markets actually work, I really learned the skill set, and that naturally turned into, learning how to day trade crypto. And that kind of was the birth of, okay, wait, crypto is just a subsidiary within blockchain, but there are so many different lanes within this whole thing. Let me go ahead and kind of get myself well versed. And now I'm all in. And now the metaverse being a part of it is just, it just takes it to a whole nother level for real.
Wow. So you got introduced because it sounds like you were looking for some extra income.
Right.
And what was just kind of an exploration to find that turned into now what seems like is a passion for you, but also a very profitable life, being able to do that. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely. I was able to kind of retire soon after because this was something that, when you get into actually day trading, and actually take it on as a skill set. And that's something that I think separates the 99% and the 1% that are actually able to walk away profitable, is that I took it on as a real skill set, and through growing in community and being able to talk with others and learn from other individuals, that's what kind of grew the passion part. Because the truth of the matter is, trading and day trading and buying NFTs, it's not fun to do it by yourself. You know what I mean? It's really the community part that really makes it a whole nother experience. You go from, building within your world in Meta, and then being in a world where there's 30 people around, 2 different subsidiaries, you know what I mean? And it's that community part that really kind of grew the passion part. And that's what made me want to kind of learn how to articulate some of these concepts to really help everybody else kind of have at least the lane to have this passion, because I knew nothing about this. This just goes to show that you can map it out as well as you want to, but God is going to have his own lane for you, period. Because I didn't even know how to think about cryptocurrency in 2017, but here in 2022, this is my whole entire, day-to-day lifestyle. So it's a blessing.
Love it. I'm here for the elevation. I'm here for
Absolutely.
The story. I'm here for all of this, man. Vic, congratulations on just one is following your heart. It sounded like you knew that this was the next thing to do, and you went head first into it. So man, shout out to you for just having the courage to step full time into what you knew and felt was the best thing for your life. So you said something though that I want to mention and go back to, right? So obviously, the company and the brand that I'm building with my team is Black and Meta. And you mentioned the metaverse just now, and just the idea of being able to have these two subsidiaries from community to not. But before we can even get to that part, backtrack us and help the audience get up to speed a little bit on like what really, from your vantage point perspective, is the metaverse, right? And then also talk to us about from the expert seat that you now sit in, why is this even something that people of color should pay attention to?
Absolutely. That's a very, very good question. And I'll attack the first one. What exactly is the metaverse? I feel like there's going to have to be a buffer around what exactly is the metaverse, because everyone is going to experience it differently. Some people say it as broad as soon as you put on the Oculus, I'm in the metaverse. But then if that's what it comes down to, then you're discounting Decentraland altogether. So that automatically creates a gray area. So I feel like the metaverse really is going to come down to that combination of using the internet, going from that Web 1 phase of just read, write, to bringing it all the way to the point where it's something where not only you can read, but you can write to it, you can interact with it, and you can interact with others with the actual contents of it. And I think this is the first iteration where we actually have a combination of all of that, and to have, what we're calling the metaverse, which is where now we can actually go build a world, not just a landing page. We can actually, land in the actual world where we can now converse and things like that, which is so powerful. And to answer your second question, why Black people should really, or people of color should really start to, attack this space, or at least get knowledgeable, is because this, in my opinion, is now the very first time that the barrier for entry, not only is it, very low, but there is no gatekeeper. At this point, we now get to enter on our own means. The fact that we're still in the phase where the number one question is, what is the metaverse?
Right.
Define it. You know what I mean? Everybody gets their opportunity to define it in whatever they want. You literally go into these worlds and you build with a blank parcel. You can go from there into whatever your mind can imagine. And with that being the case, I seen a gentleman, and I hate that I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I've been praising, the business model that he's already created, where he essentially created like a custodial service where, okay, if you have a club or you have, a place where kids can come and party, look, you can hire me to just come and keep your place tidy. When people picking up bottles and then just tossing it anywhere, look, I'm gonna come and make sure that we keep it together.
Got you.
You feel me? So just seeing that, right, at a core essence of, what people can do to translate a business model into this, it just takes me in a position where it's like,
we got to stop, right? Hold up, because you already taking us into like fourth gear, brother. Like, okay, so we got to unpack some of this stuff, okay? Absolutely. So I'm taking notes as you're talking, and I want to make sure that our audience is picking up on everything that you putting down, because you putting down game, right? So let's go back. I wrote this down, and this is for those who are, again, we want to just level set for a second. Web 2, right, is the idea of what we're in right now: internet, social media, etc. So you mentioned Web 2 and landing pages, and that stuck out to me because everybody, anybody that knows anything about whether you're building a business or building a brand or you just transact, everybody knows what a landing page is, right?
Right. Absolutely.
You just said something that was such a aha moment to me. It's like, yeah, in this new iteration, it's like you could build a landing page or you could build a world.
Yeah.
Just for a second, Vic, unpack what you meant by that and how this is the future of being able to experience a product or experience a service.
Absolutely. I really think just the way you worded the question in itself was powerful. And I'm pretty sure everyone, no matter what I say, can already see based on the way you just painted that, because the landing page is, especially up to this point, not to, degrade it, it's brought us so far, but that's a space where people can represent their brand. And we are going to Fiverr and we're looking for experts and we're taking courses and learning, how much of your header space should, contain text and what colors should we use. And that's become a whole science. If we've done all of that for one page, essentially, to create an experience to represent who we are as brands and individuals, if you can now create essentially a 3D world, and in some cases 4D with haptic and all that, we'll get to that. But if you can create a whole entire experience that really encompasses what your brand creates, and at the, shout out to Meta, it's free. You get your headset, you don't have to buy the parcel or anything. You can go and create based on, you in collaboration maybe with others, and truly create experience. You know what I mean? Colors and just vibes. You can, it goes on and on. So I think just having that new lane for us to be able to take advantage of, I can't even encapsulate exactly, how big this can become for brands.
It's ground floor. I mean, we're really at the beginning of this. And I just want to put this plug in here, which is why it's so important for Black and brown people to make their stake in this, because we do have an opportunity to not be an afterthought. Right? We have an opportunity to not be like, oh, by the way, now let's include Black and brown people for what, they may or may not need, or their wants or desires. Now let's go ahead and add a diversity chair. No. Let's come in and make our chair at the table to start with. And I think that's the beautiful thing. You mentioned, I wrote this down, Vic, is the idea of there's no gatekeepers, right? Absolutely. This is all up to whatever we can imagine. And so I love that. I want to take the conversation a little further, Vic, and swing it back around to your expertise. So we know that you are expert in the crypto space, expert in the NFT space, and really have spent time really understanding that industry. Talk to us a little bit about the full ecosystem of how you see all of this working, right? And even if we're not there just yet, when you think of the metaverse and you think of crypto and NFTs, from your vantage point, and you're sitting where you're sitting, what does all that look like together as an ecosystem?
Definitely. I honestly want to just say that the whole scale of where anybody is as far as being someone that's new, or even, being an expert, I think it's all, and you said it, comes down to how much time have you put towards understanding where we are right now. Because the beautiful thing about this is that being an expert of today is essentially being somebody that is the expert of a VHS, knowing that DVDs, Blu-ray, and streaming are right around the corner. So to be an expert today, hopefully everybody understands, meaning I'm on top of anything that's new and coming out, and reading and ingesting as much understanding as possible. That's where I really can say I humbly take myself as an expert in that space. And I think as a whole entire ecosystem, I think people need to really understand that because it's all so new, the interoperability of all of these different sectors happening. I want to take it back actually one step, just so we know what sectors we're talking about. Sure. Now we're talking about the ability to have decentralization, right? Where an individual doesn't have to worry about a particular entity or a company necessarily having all of their data centralized and maybe shadow banning you or anything like that from a platform. This is going to create a space where everything is, I guess you could say, fair game, clean, and more technical open source. You as an individual in this new ecosystem can actually see just about everything. When we talk about transactions happening, we may not know that, this account is linked directly to, Black in Meta. However, every transaction that's made, we can actually see on the blockchain. So let's say you guys do have a, a project, an NFT or you mint an NFT and you make it known, hey, this is my particular NFT. That's going to give us the opportunity to know, okay, this wallet or this address is directly correlated to the Black and Meta brand. So now when you go to another, let's say social media, which is a whole realm within centralized institutions, now we're going decentralized with social medias. This is going to create a space where you can actually go and get paid directly from whatever the platform is, but you don't need the 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 hours worth of watch time. Fresh out of the gate, whatever it is that you're doing to add to the platform, if people support you, you instantly get paid.
That's it.
So for these different lanes, decentralized finance, which is known as DeFi, and you now can get loans in cryptocurrency that actually pay for themselves in the appreciation of the asset that you hold. It's completely new. They have insurance where, let's say, for instance, right, I'm in Atlanta. Let's say I have a food truck company and I have a contract with the Atlanta Braves. And if I get rained out, if the day of a game, it rains for, let's say, 10 hours or more throughout the day of a game, then the Atlanta Braves are going to just pay me $500 for the inconveniency because I wasn't able to actually run my business that day. That can be something that's instantly operational through smart contracts and what the blockchain is able to provide. And this can go on and on from croppers to dry seasons and so many different lanes. And now the point to bring this all together, because I can keep going with different lanes that are out there. Sure. It's bringing this all together and allowing for you to be secure, which this is what the blockchain really provides, a level of trustlessness. We don't have to believe that Instagram or Mark Zuckerberg is gonna, all right, it completely takes any individual out of it and comes to the masses. So I think in order for this to run properly, people have to start reading and understanding what do these different lanes mean. So when we talk about bringing it together and having representation, it's like we're a part of it. Our vote matters, right, essentially. You know what I mean? Because we're going to drive what direction all of these lanes go into, because it comes down to like a 51% type of ordeal. Like, where does the masses say? And that's going to be the direction of it. So we're going to need people to really start, getting a grasp of this. And I say, take it one lane at a time. And, you know what I mean, continue to join conversations and tune into, podcasts like this so that you can continue to get exposed to different, levels of conversation.
Man, Vic, this is so rich. This is so rich in terms of information, because you're helping us really expand our minds to what's possible. And that's what this is about. This is about having the understanding, at least at a basic level, so that then we can take it, grab it and run with it and start to build our own lanes, right? And I think that's the beautiful thing about what you're sharing with us, is that this is available to everybody. Like, this is not just for one type of person. And that's why I love the direction that we're going in with Web3, NFTs, and all of the things, right? So let's keep the conversation going here. I want to unpack a little bit more of your expertise, if you will. You've taken hours, countless, I'm sure, sleepless nights at some point, right? Even building your own brand and building Crypto Camp or Camp Crypto and all of the things that you're doing, right? Talk to us about some of the first steps that somebody should take, right? Because you've done it now, but like having been able to either do it over again or just knowing what you know now, how does somebody take the first step of being able to say, hey, you know what, the metaverse is interesting to me, right? How do I actually make sure that I can do something right? Do I start with Decentraland? Do I start with Meta? Do I learn about cryptocurrency or learn about, like, where does somebody start getting involved in all of this stuff and making sure that they have a good foundation?
Absolutely. That is such a good question. And I truly believe, because everybody's, learning experience is always going to be different. There's never going to be a cookie cutter way, right? Not only are, on the front end, because that's front end, everybody's learning experience is different. But then, within the world of crypto, obviously we have, different personalities. And if nothing else, the world of cryptocurrency will expose you to your personality probably better than anything else in the world.
What do you mean by that, Vic?
Man, you're gonna find out if you're patient in cryptocurrency. You're gonna find out if you're somebody who moves hastily, if you're gonna be somebody who's a gambler, if you're gonna be somebody because the markets of crypto can fluctuate so much. And no matter if you're somebody who's a hodler, where you're buying and holding cryptocurrency, or you're a day trader, when you talk about going in those lanes, that's gonna matter. When you talk about your NFTs being set at particular rates, the fluctuation of the price is gonna matter. And just to see your character, your self-reflection on how you can sustain these periods, that's gonna actually, show a lot. So you'll learn a lot about yourself in this world of cryptocurrency for sure. But I wanna make sure I answer your question directly. So what's that core question right there?
So the core question is just, where should somebody start, right? I think let's, even maybe take a sector at a time. One thing I'm realizing about the metaverse is that, to your point, you said earlier, there's all these different interpretations, but we can't say one thing because it will exclude another platform or vice versa. Right. So my question to you is just, maybe even if you want to share your journey, but where does somebody start understanding, and now that they've been convinced that the metaverse and NFTs and all of the things that are coming forth are actually here to stay, how does someone decide to get their feet wet? What's the best way you found?
Absolutely. So I would really say as best as you can is kind of get yourself in different communities, because that's where there's the known, there's the unknown, and then there's the unknown. There's the things that you don't know. And this, I believe the world of cryptocurrency is the world where the unknown is at the most rapid pace ever, because you don't know some of the things that you shouldn't even, or wouldn't even know to go look at. So I think putting yourself around different environments where there's different levels of expertise as well, right? If you get in an environment where everybody is new, well, that could be the blind just leading the blind. But then if you get into a situation where you're just kind of listening to one person only, and then there's no community, well, then that's going to actually lead to just whatever their fixated lane is, or wherever they're dominant, they may have some blind spots. So that's why I think, putting yourself in communities, whether it be Twitter, that's something I wish I would have really understood a lot more coming into crypto, is, Twitter is like the best friend to the world of cryptocurrency. And because I was like an Instagram person, I didn't realize that there was a lot of raw conversation right there on Twitter that could have, just kind of pointed me in some different directions that then could have led me down me doing my own research. So that's going to be a location, joining Discords and being active, and being in Discords that are for the right reasons. There's individuals that are popping open Discords and try to flood in, hey, first couple of thousand, you're going to get this free NFT. But then that free NFT holds no value, but that was just a way to kind of, flood people into a direction. But you want to kind of be a part of a community where there's going to be education going to be involved. There's going to be some, open dialogue, because there's nothing more powerful than hearing other people's perspectives on this, because those are going to be the times where your own thoughts are kind of sparked. So I would really say dial in there. Of course, following pages like your own and kind of following, what's happening, in these different arenas and who's getting involved, and just kind of going down those rabbit holes and doing your due diligence, because that's what's going to kind of like peel back each layer at a time. I can say what I personally took the time to do to kind of answer this question in a nutshell is because I see a lot of posts, and anybody that's kind of getting into the world of crypto, I'm sure we've all seen it. It's the post of the person saying, hey, if you want to learn about cryptocurrency, learn these topics. And then there's 27 things, right? So I personally literally took screenshots. I have 5 different screenshots of different people posting that. And then I took the time to write them all out. And that's what I created my course around, putting it in a very sequential order and articulate it in a way that like you can understand each one and how they actually build on top of each other. Because going and starting to learn about, a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, without understanding blockchain is backwards. But that video could have been so intriguing that you went down that route. Learning about DeFi without knowing crypto is backwards. knowing the crypto without understanding that there's different blockchains. And, you know, so I took the time to kind of put that in a way so that it could be, you know, digested in the right way. And now at least you know that, okay, now I can go and look at whatever's exposed to me, whatever someone says, I know how to categorize it and I know exactly how to approach it moving forward.
So good, Vic. So good. I want to recap just some of the things that you're saying because it's worth noting. One is what I'm hearing is diversifying your sources, where you're getting your information from. I love how you're saying, you know, Twitter is a different community than Instagram, but they both hold value, right? And even just hearing from one mentor, one coach is value when you can hear from another one as well too, and get these various perspectives. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by Woodrow Wilson. He says, "I not use all the brain I have, but all the brains I can borrow." I love that because it's beyond just what we know, but we can make ourselves privy to so much more information when we diversify. So takeaway, y'all, as y'all are listening, get in multiple communities, right? Go and actually, oh, you keep going with it?
All right, yep, you're good.
Go in multiple communities, right? Don't just join Black and Meta in our community, right? Go and sign up for Camp Crypto, understand what Vic is doing, really be able to diversify and upgrade your knowledge from various voices so that you can be well-rounded in all that's to come within this future, right? I love that. And then another thing that I'm hearing you say is really just be a student of the game. Right? It's that simple. This is a time period where the time that you put in on the front end, even if it's just a couple hours a day, couple hours a week, whatever your time and your schedule allot, this is you being a student sets you up for the next decade, if not multiple decades of your life. And if you haven't heard that, please know that that's what we're saying here, is that you have an opportunity to absolutely be set up. Don't take this lightly. Vic is, I think, sharing that with us, is that you really got to take time, screenshot, study, understand. If you can get the understanding, you can then open the Pandora's box to the next thing. So Vic, am I getting that right? Anything else you want to add to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Can I add just one gem? You really read my mind just then. I'll put this gem out there, and this is a shameless plug to you know, this app, and I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. But this is something that I fully feel like can help compartmentalize, because if nothing else, what I'm trying to, you know, do for everybody is expose that there's more than just Bitcoin, right? There's more than just Dogecoin going to the moon. There's so much. So I use this app called Notion, right? And Notion allows for you to kind of create not just an outline, but the way that you're able to kind of create pages within pages or kind of toggle things. And if you get into the app, you'll really see how you can kind of start learning these things, because you said something that a lot of us, I'm sure we're doing, is we're taking the screenshots and we're getting the notes, or we're saving that TikTok, right? Which is that first step. And then now that second step is now getting it organized in a way that we can actually utilize, or we can come back and study it the right way, right? Because there's so many different lanes. If one day you're talking to somebody about DeFi, and then the next day you're talking to somebody about crypto, then the next day you're talking about blockchains, you want to make sure that you're putting that in the right, you know, kind of category, so that you can come back and study that stuff appropriately. Because that's going to be a part of really retaining it long term, and then kind of making sense of the whole thing, kind of big picture.
So good. So good. Oh man, you're giving us so many gems today, Vic. I'm just so grateful to have you, man. Look, we're almost at time, but I do think it's worth us being able to jump a little bit further before we wrap up. And of course, we want you to know, want you to be able to share anything that you've got at the end. Is really talking about use cases and your favorites, right? I think the cool thing about having and spending some time with an expert is being able to get their insight. And of course, I know that you're so generous and excited to share. We both share that mission of just wanting our people to get it and come up and learn. So if you could share your favorite use cases, favorite metaverse platforms, what you're excited about, and each, even for crypto, right? What are you looking at right now? What's exciting to you? What do you want the people listening today to learn and know, as far as some other little insights and secrets?
Definitely. So I will say two top use cases of mine that I'll go with. One, I'll go with, you know, within the metaverse, right? This is kind of gem, and I'll throw this one out there because I just know that this is going to be something that helps so many other creators, even though I'm not even positioned to do it myself quite yet the way that I want to. But just the opportunity to, the same way we have, podcasts, right? There's already been podcasts within the metaverse and they've been amazing, right? Now, let's say you have that type of event, but you want to get it captured. In real life, we hire cameramen and they come and they capture events. What you're able to do right now within the metaverse is you can record, but you can record from first person. So it's me actually looking out. But if I'm the person throwing the event, right? If I'm throwing the event in real life, I want to have my mans with me. I want to have my cameraman with me, right, recording me interact in these different ways. So I feel like there's a use case, there's a lane right there for essentially a production company within the metaverse where I can hire out, 2 or 3 guys with Oculus sets. You can go in and, for somebody that doesn't know, you can upgrade the resolution that your headset records in. I believe it's like 680p. You can upgrade it to like 1024, I believe. So you can, get your little production company, record events for people, or if they have something they want to share, you can be that person that records for them. So that's one lane that, someone could actually go and attack. And then as far as another use case, I'm really big on understanding how big NFTs are going to be in the use case of those, at a wide spectrum. When it comes to membership style within real life, I believe this is going to be kind of the new norm, where if you have a particular membership to a specific location, that's the only way that you can actually, interact or come in and things like that. And I just see that that's going to be something that's so valuable, because if I want to quote unquote cancel my membership, there is no true incentive there whatsoever for me. And for the sake of the company, they actually just lose me. They don't gain anybody else. But if I make my membership an NFT, me quote unquote selling it off instantly gets you another person that's going to be using that, that utility. So I believe that's going to be something that's really going to be, just very widespread and kind of the norm to come. There's restaurants where in order for you to be able to eat at the restaurant, you have to have a particular NFT. And that's for that to be the case, it's like, and if you're done, you're moving to another city. All right, let me sell my NFT, my access pass. Now you can get there, but then you still have to pay for your food or whatever. But that's just, NFTs are going to be such a core staple, because it's not, and I want to say this, I guess, for the record, it's not even what you see, right? I don't think that's what's being captured by the people. People are being so, misled by the art itself. That part has no significance technically, right? From a technical level. The technical portion that matters is the proof of ownership through distributed ledger technology, which we know as the blockchain. That right there, for me to be able to verify that you definitely own X thing, or you're actually in sole possession of this thing, that verification method is where the value is. People talk about cash. Literally, cash has no tracking system to it whatsoever. Every time you was holding cash, you could have easily been robbed, and there's no proof of how much you had or anything. With this blockchain technology, everything is proven, everything is tracked. So even when there's, malicious activity, it's at least there so that, something can actually be done about it. And I think that proof of ownership is the thing to really hone in on, because if you're just a small boutique, or let's use it specifically for Black and Meta, you guys could do just 10 NFTs, which, if you guys go and do, brainstorming sessions, or, you have an event, the individuals that own these 10, they get the red carpet experience. They get the behind the scenes. They get to meet with X, Y, and Z. They're in that private. And then you have the 500 NFTs for another layer. But there's just so many different use cases with how people can use an NFT. And I think that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing how creative people can get with that.
Wow, Vic, you're just giving us all the gems, all the game. And I just appreciate so much your heart, your generosity for really wanting our audience to know like this is what's possible and this is what is really the future is here. Like it's here. And I
Absolutely.
think the writing is on the wall, but the proof is in the pudding. Like the proof
Yeah.
is we're putting on headsets, right? Like I tell y'all, I said at the beginning, but me and Vic literally bumped into each other, like our avatars bumped into each other.
Like,
It was so cool. Go ahead. What do
no,
you
go
say?
ahead. No, I was just saying, like, I looked up and I saw you. I'm like, whoa, wait. That was
We
so
were
cool.
like, yo, we gonna talk on Tuesday. And it's such an experience. And I'll wrap up here as we get ready to transition out. But Vic, I think one of the biggest things that you've been sharing in the word that has been coming up consistently in our conversation is community, right? Community. And the reality is, y'all, like one, Vic said it earlier, learning this information and all the 27 things that you need to know about NFTs and cryptos or whatever the case may be, like it's not the same when you don't do it with other people, right? So I'm truly encouraging you all to do not do this alone, right? You don't have to, and it's so much more of an experience, right? An experience if you can do it with others. So we're inviting you to join our communities, but more importantly, find the community that fits for you, right? Go on Twitter, go on Instagram and find that. So Vic, look, I'm so sad that we're running out of time here. Our next one, we're gonna have to do inside of the metaverse. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
gonna have
gonna
to
be
be a
cool.
thing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
like we're gonna have to be on our avatars and make our own
Yeah,
podcast stage or whatever. So we
definitely.
definitely have to do that. But before we jump, any last words that you want to give? You know that our audience is Black and brown faces. So any other encouragement that you want to give them? And then please don't forget to end with sharing about Camp Crypto and all of the things that you're doing so they can learn more about you.
Absolutely, man. I just want to say, especially you made it this far in this episode, just to kind of give yourself a pat on the back because I feel like just the exposure alone is gonna do the work. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a big portion of it. You just kind of getting those gears going because we're all so creative in the world that we've experienced up to this point. But because we now have, the ability to create and commune in so many different new ways at this point. I just really want people to take advantage of it. And the beautiful thing is the community that's around this at this point, and I'm really hoping that it stays this way. Everybody is so willing and giving and sharing, right? It's not a crab in a bucket mentality. We're not fighting over real estate here. Like we're really helping each other as much as we can create because we understand that this is something that those barrier for entries are so small that we can all win. There's enough space for everybody. So just continue to learn. You can follow me on Instagram at vics.vibes. That's vix.vibes. And then you can actually go and find out more about Camp Crypto at learn.vix.vibes.com. And I'm sure we'll have a link and everything like that. But what I really push to do is really just kind of expand the mind, really articulate some of these topics with metaphors and things that we can actually understand. Because I think once we all have a good foundation, what we do from there is going to be the creativity that we all possess. You know what I mean? But I just want to at least be someone that can at least expose what all is possible, what all lanes we can think about, and then just be a part of what all we are able to create as a community. So that's all I
Awesome.
have, man. This has been a blessing and a pleasure for real. Thank you so much, man.
Yo, absolutely, Vic. It is such a pleasure to have you. This will not be the last time that we have you on our network, our community. Like you are officially a part of the fam now. We've done the interview. So I'm excited to have you, man. So listen, you all follow vix.vibes on Instagram. I'm guessing Twitter as well too, Vic,
Yeah,
right? Please
Twitter.
make sure that
Oculus,
if
add
any
me on there.
Oculus, yes.
Yeah.
How can we forget that? Add him
Right.
on Oculus as well too, so you can bump into him at the metaverse in the metaverse. But listen, you all, we're super excited for your journey. Definitely take everything that you heard today. Do not let it fall on deaf ears. Go back and listen to this. Write down all of the aha moments and the light bulbs that that Vic shared with you today. Take the gems that he so generously shared that you can do and jump in with the next steps. But we're just excited that you took the time and your time to listen to this entire episode. So listen, without further ado, listen, we're excited. Follow us at Black in Meta, just like it sounds, Instagram, Twitter, and across all platforms. And until we see you in the metaverse, we'll see you soon.